Hey guys, we've told you stories about Mississippians that have excelled in the areas of writing, like William Faulkner, music, like Ruby Elsie and Robert Johnson, and even Elvis. Well, today we're going to tell you about 4 of my most favorite Mississippians that have made it to the NFL. Come along with us. Let's go explore. Our first Mississippian to talk about is Jack Gregory. Earl Jackson Gregory Jr. was born in Okolona, Mississippi on October 3, 1944. He was a defensive end in the NFL, and he had a 13-year career where he played with the Cleveland Browns and the New York Giants. Jack had 103 quarterback sacks for his career. He was the 9th pick in the AFL draft in 1966, drafted by the Buffalo Bills. He went in the 9th round, or the 139th pick, in the NFL draft. Jack played college football at the University of Tennessee, Chattanooga, and at Delta State University. In 1970, Jack had 14 sacks for the Browns, the second best total in team history. Unfortunately, we lost Jack on March 2, 2019 in Monroe County, Mississippi. Our next Mississippian is Jerry Rice. Jerry was a wide receiver in the NFL for 20 seasons. He was born in Crawford, Mississippi on October 13, 1962. Before he played 20 seasons in the NFL, primarily with the 49ers, he played college football at Mississippi Valley State University. Jerry was selected in the first round of the 1985 NFL Draft, 16th overall. For my money, Jerry Rice is the greatest receiver in NFL history. Jerry is a 3-time Super Bowl champion, a Super Bowl MVP, an NFL Most Valuable Player, 2-time NFL Offensive Player of the Year, a 10-time First-Team All-Pro, 13 times he was picked for the Pro Bowl, 6 times he led the NFL in receiving yards, twice he led the NFL in number of receptions, and 6 times he led the NFL in receiving touchdowns. Jerry had 22,895 career receiving yards. He is a member of the Pro Football Hall of Fame, the College Football Hall of Fame, and the Mississippi Sports Hall of Fame. Next, we're going to tell you a little bit about Brett Favre and Walter Payton. And don't forget, if you like this kind of content, hit that like button. Brett Favre, who played his college football at University of Southern Mississippi, was born in Kiln, Mississippi on October 10, 1969. He played quarterback in the NFL for 20 seasons, primarily with the Green Bay Packers. He had 321 consecutive starts, including 297 regular season games, the most in league history. He was the first NFL quarterback to reach 70,000 yards, 6,000 completions, 500 touchdowns, 10,000 passes, 200 wins, and victories over all 32 teams. He was drafted in the 2nd round in 1991, the 33rd pick by the Atlanta Falcons. Brett is a Super Bowl champion, a 3-time NFL Most Valuable Player, an NFL Most Offensive Player of the Year, 3-time First-Team All-Pro, 11-time Pro Bowl pick, and 4 times he was NFL passing touchdown leader. Brett Favre was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 2016. Walter Jerry Payton was a professional football player who was a running back for the Chicago Bears. He was born on July 25, 1954, in Columbia, Mississippi. He is considered by many, including me, as being one of the greatest football players of all time. Walter Payton played in the Pro Bowl 9 times and held records for career rushing yards, touchdowns, yards from scrimmage, carries, all-purpose yards, and when he retired, he even had the most receptions of a non-receiver. Walter had 8 career touchdown passes. In 1993, he was inducted into the Mississippi Sports Hall of Fame. The same year, he was elected to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Walter joined the College Football Hall of Fame in 1996. He played his college football at Jackson State University. Coach Mike Ditka describes Walter Payton as the greatest football player he had ever seen, but even greater as a human being. Walter was picked in the first round. He was the 4th pick of the NFL draft in 1975. He was a Super Bowl champion, NFL Most Valuable Player, Offensive Player of the Year, 5-time first-team All-Pro. 9 times he went to the Pro Bowl. He was NFL rushing yards leader, rushing touchdowns leader for 77. 4 times he led the NFL in rushing attempts. He made several all-decade and anniversary teams and was voted one of the 100 greatest Chicago Bears of all time. He finished his career with 16,726 rushing yards. He had 3,838 rushing attempts. He also had 4,538 receiving yards. He had 110 rushing touchdowns and 4.4 yards per carry. Sweetness was truly one of the greatest. Walter Payton died on November 1st, 1999. We hope you've enjoyed learning a little bit about Mississippians who have excelled in the National Football League. We invite you to do a little research and learn a little bit about their careers and even search for them on YouTube so you too can enjoy watching them play. Thank you. Next, we're going to tell you about Walter Payton. I don't remember who else it is.